In today's video, I'm going over some of the updates that I've done to this ATO bracket that I am calling the Auto Top This Off. I've made multiple updates and revisions to this, and I currently have this on every single one of my tanks, and it's one of my favorite models that I've created. Stay tuned to see what's changed and to find out where you can get your hands on one of these bad boys for your tank. Welcome back to IC Live. My name's Mark. Alright, this project goes back quite some time ago when I made two different videos, one about installing an auto top off unit with float switches in the Waterbox Peninsula Mini, and the other one with installing an optical float switch in the Fluval Evo 13.5. For each of these tanks, I made a special bracket that holds the float switch or the optical sensor in the correct spot and then also returns the water flow into the tank. The brackets have been doing a killer job and I've had very little issues with my ATO. However, I have noticed several different design elements that I can make improvements on for these ATOs. First and foremost, I'm always trying to make everything compact and really tight and work together because we do not have a lot of room inside of these nano tanks. To kick things off, let's go ahead and check out the different design iterations that I've gone through for this specific model. As you can see here, there's really been four major changes. The one on the left is what I started with. This was the very first model that I made and it worked well. However, I did notice some major improvements I could make, which I did on the second model. The major change was that I incorporated the return line into the sensor holder, as you can see right here on the second model. This second model was working great. However, I kept having printing issues with the screw that keeps tension on the glass. This is not an easy piece to print because small threads do not work well on 3D printers. This is what leads me to design number 3. I had to improve the screw, so I made a much larger screw that is inset into the model and can use an Allen key to go ahead and tension that thing up against the glass. The new screw has much larger threads and it is so much better at keeping this ATO mount secure in place. Moving on to the most up-to-date model, the next iteration features a guard over the sensor. Now this actually stems out of the first request I had for making one of these. It was a guard specifically for the optical sensor for one of these ATOs because a snail kept triggering it or kept blocking it off. Something would get on the sensor and ultimately the sensor would get a false reading that the water is currently at the level, so then it would not go off and fill the tank back up. Alright, you've seen the updates. Now I'm going to go ahead and get this new model installed on the Fluval Evo 13.5 and replace the old brackets. Here is the 4-inch Auto Top This Off model. This one turned out really cool. I printed it in purple, and I'm actually going to go ahead and install the sensor right now along with the tube. To install the sensor, I'm just going to slide it in and then you rotate it up. Once the cord's in the cord slot, then it is secured. It's not going anywhere. Now I'm going to go ahead and run the cord up through the slot at the top. It's not hard to do. I just pinch the cord, stuff it up there, and then just keep pushing. You got to give yourself a little bit of slack on the side with the sensor just so there's enough room for it to get up there. There you go. The cord is in its slot, and now it's time to move on to the tube. This is the vinyl tubing that came off the sensor here to the right. Notice it's a little wider, and that's because it was already on a sensor. It's important to use something to go ahead and stretch this out just a little bit, like a heat gun, something to help kind of get it over the edge. I highly suggest using some silicone to go ahead and secure this onto the model, mainly because with 3D printing, there's always going to be layer lines, and each one of those layer lines is a potential leak point. So I have had issues getting the line to be watertight, and the easiest way to fix those issues was just to put silicone on it, put it over, and then go ahead and clamp it. Looks like this one is about ready, and it is ready. I'm going to go ahead and install this on the Fluval Evo Spec 5 that I have going up, but I'm going to go ahead and grab another version of this model, and let's go ahead and install it right now on the Evo 13.5. Here is the Fluval Evo 13.5, and it is doing excellent. As you can see, I have some overgrowth with these mushrooms, On the left, I've got an OctZoa frag rack, which is a future video. And then my bubble tip right here is doing great. I do need to make a video about it because that thing was nearly dead when I got it. All right, here's what I'm replacing. I do have two of these models in the back. The black one was the original one that is installed, and the one on the right is a purple one. This was another variation that I was just testing out. After I was done testing, I made the alterations to the final model, which is the one you've already seen, and let's go ahead and get that thing installed. Alright, here it is. This thing is all ready. It's secured. I've got silicone over the tube, so it should not leak as long as I let that silicone dry. Now I got to go ahead and switch hands because I'm holding the camera and I install this thing. Kind of wild that I can do it with only one hand. Right now I'm twisting the hex tool. This is just a 10-inch Allen wrench that goes into the bolt, so I'm just twisting that so that the bolt gets snug up, secure against the glass, and once it's snug, this bracket is in place and it's not going anywhere. I can then remove the tool too. So I can leave the tool in or remove it. See here, I just removed it so that the back is super flush, and there you go.
6.5 hours later.
I wanted to make sure that this silicone had some time to cure before I turn it on. And I just flipped the switch, so I should be getting some water here in a second. There we go. Looking great. All right, moment of truth. Any leakage? No. Looks a little wet, but it's actually not. That's just the silicone. Just double check. All right. It is working great. No leaks. And that's it for this video. But however, before we go, I want to show you a sneak peek of what I'm setting up next week. That's right, I'm setting up a Fluval Evo Spec 5 and I'm super excited about it. I can't wait to show you guys all the customizations I've made to it. It's going to be epic. But that is for next week, so let's wrap this video up. This is the new ATO design and it is available on iclive.com. We've got it in multiple different levels, including 2-inch, 3-inch, 4-inch, 5-inch, 6-inch, 7-inch, and 8-inch. Every order I get helps out this channel and allows me to make more content, as I have a ton of projects that I haven't even shared with you guys. I just need time to finish them and ultimately edit up the videos. Speaking of the videos, if you like this content, please be sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you live in the next video.